Number 15, answers to questions from subscribers of the group Cassiopeia in VK, Part 2, September 6, 2019. Participants: Irina Podzorova, contactee with extraterrestrial civilizations; Maxim Rusin, head of the International Center of Spiritual Development, Midgascaus, representative of the Interstellar Union, Planet Essler.
Do spiritual beings inhabit people? What do they do it for, and is it possible to protect oneself from such influences?
Yes, they do. It is done by those spiritual entities who, for various reasons, do not want to wait for the turn for incarnation. They want to move as quickly as possible, but by the fact that they commit violence, occupying, albeit with the consent of man, his physical body, but showing violence in the future, they violate the law of God. So such spirits are not above the 6th level, according to the hierarchy of the spiritual world. But such spirits can be instilled not in every person. This process is very difficult. It is necessary that the personal vibrations of the embodied spirits and the personal vibrations of the embodied spirits who wants to unite with another person's body coincide as much as possible, since the personal vibrations depend on the feelings and beliefs of the spirit. In order for the embodied spirits to take a place in another's body, they must find an embodied spirit overflowing with resentment, despair, anger, jealousy, greed, and other vibrations that will help it gain a foothold in the aura of its new host. But it is the disembodied spirit that will consider itself the master of the position.
How can I protect myself from this?
To live in the light of true love, to never be afraid of any spiritual entities, to get rid of any negative emotion as quickly as possible, to set yourself always on a positive attitude to life, to always be in contact with your higher self, and to remember that your body is only temporary, that you are an eternal and immortal spirit which has had many such bodies, and in the future there will be many more. Understanding and realizing this will allow you not to experience negative feelings and emotions for insignificant reasons, which means that low vibrational spirits will not be able to get caught in the energy structure of your aura.
Thank you, Mid. You spoke about the level of spiritual entities. Can you please tell me more about what levels there are and what happens on these levels?
There are 24 levels of the spiritual world, the world of disembodied spirits. It is a little farther from the material world in terms of its vibrations than the astral. From the 1st to the 6th level live spiritual entities, which you call demons, evil spirits. From the 1st to the 6th level, their energy characteristics and their attitude to God, to people, to themselves, and their level of consciousness change. The 7th and 8th levels are occupied by those spirits who had a lot of incarnations in plasmoid worlds of the Earth type. That is what you call the nature of spirits. From the 9th to the 16th level are spirits who occupy an intermediate position between service in hatred and service in love, with the level of service in love increasing from the 9th to the 16th level inclusive. From the 17th to the 24th level dwell spirits who are called angels in your earthly language. These are those spirits who have no other purpose than to serve God and His children in love and truth, and the level of awareness of themselves and their mission grows from the 17th to the 24th level inclusively.
How many % of the brain of an ordinary earthly person works, and is it possible to increase this indicator?
If we take into account not only conscious processes, but also subconscious ones, and processes of controlling your hormonal, immune, and other body systems, then your brain is working at 100%. The percentage of participation of neurons in the transmission of information to the incarnated spirit, what you call the level of consciousness, is currently about 10–15%. It is possible to increase the percentage of neurons in this process, but you have not yet mastered the percentage that you have now. To master 10–15% of your brain capabilities, you need to increase the level of imaginative perception of the surrounding world and the speed of thoughts in children, to give them tasks for the speed of thinking. The older a child, and even more so an adult, the more difficult it is for them to relearn what they have learned. It is advisable to start this process before the age of 10.
What is your attitude to modern astrological and numerological theories? How much do they reflect the essence of things, and how similar are they to theories about calculation of personal vibrations?
We treat modern numerological and astrological theories with interest and positively. Coincidences with the theory of personal vibrations of spirit are actually few, as you have other systems, other terminology. The closest I can advise you to use in your practice is the system of psychomatrix of Pythagoras, as he received it while being a contactees of Burkhard, which reflects our system quite closely.
What is the number of our civilization on Earth?
Before the two Masautians created your species 3 million years ago, there were no dense material civilizations on Earth. What existed on Earth then were subtle material plasmoid civilizations, which actually still exist near you.
Will there be a human cleansing of the Earth, and if so, for how long is it planned?
I haven't heard such conversations in our galaxy. The word cleansing can be applied to plants, to animals, but not to sentient beings. Nothing of this kind is planned in our galaxy and cannot be planned for the simple reason that the life of any embodied spirits cannot be interrupted, according to our laws, until they are ready, until their inner spiritual growth allows them to leave this world. And this is decided only by those who see all the hidden depths of consciousness and subconsciousness. Not you, not us, not the Burkhadians, no one but our common Father, and only He decides who and when to cleanse, not us spirits. We do not take on His functions.
How can you determine when contacting a spiritual entity that it is pure, safe, and true that a pure entity has contacted you?
In order to determine the truthfulness and purity of the spiritual essence that has come into contact with you, you need to possess the knowledge of God, which gives you superconsciousness, and to be in rather high vibrations yourself. Then you will recognize at once that the one who tells you seemingly right words, in fact, is inwardly inclined to you unkindly, because any tiny spot is visible on pure white clothes. If you are pure and light in vibrations, any evil will be visible near you. If you are a clot of darkness, you will not recognize anything, even if you know by heart all the religious scriptures of your world.
What are egregors and what are Akashic records?
Egregors are energy formations in the noosphere of your planet, partially accessible through the astral shell of your planet, which contain mental, emotional, and volitional energies similar in purity of vibrations and ideas. Akashic Records is a part of Egregors, which contains the information component. It is its big library. The one who has a connection with an egregor usually has access to its Akashic records. That is why people who often think about the same topic are visited by unexpected ideas, discoveries, and other processes that appear in the consciousness as if from nowhere. This is exactly from the Akashic records of this or that egregor, which gives its members this or that information depending on the quantity and quality of the energy received from them.
How can people learn to raise their vibrations? And is it possible to learn to heal oneself?
The more positive feelings, emotions, and thoughts you will experience cause in yourself, the higher will be the level of your vibrations. Correspondingly, the more often and longer you will be in a state of negative emotions or producing negative thought forms, the more you will lower your vibrations. Ideally, when the spirit controls the body, of course, a person can heal himself. But, of course, if the healing of this or that illness does not go against the plan of his incarnation, as illnesses are often processes aimed at realizing one's true place in the world or at the emergence and maintenance of the feeling of love and compassion that is born in people around him. People who are sick in body and soul have their own reasons for experiencing these conditions, and if spirit is conscious enough to understand that reason why it has arisen and can address it, gradually the physical body comes back to normal. Gradually, because physical matter is not as malleable as astral matter. Incarnation of thought forms of physical matter is slowed down for the reason that the rapid incarnation of your thoughts and feelings in physical matter can destroy you yourself. That is why incarnation of your thoughts, plans, feelings, both of positive and negative nature, is given a delay.
Are there any incurable diseases?
No, there is no incurable disease as such, but for each person any curable disease can become incurable, which he himself considers as such, and which helps him to pass this or that lesson in the material world. Remember that healthy or sick bodies in this world are only tools for the development of spirits.
Is there any sense in ensuring biological sterility of Earthlings' spacecrafts landing in automatic mode on the Moon and Mars?
This only makes sense if your scientists aim to look for microorganic life on these celestial bodies, since the Earth's contamination with microorganisms can be misleading about the microscopic life of said objects. If you already know the answer to the question of whether there is extraterrestrial microscopic life on the Moon or Mars, there would be no need to carefully sterilize your instruments. For example, the representatives of the Interstellar Union, including our representatives when they come to Earth, do not subject their vehicles to any additional treatment, just as they do not subject those vehicles that have been to Earth before coming back to Esler. This makes no sense, because every microorganism has evolved in the conditions of this or that planet, and therefore through long evolution it has acquired the ability to infect those or other creatures whose bodies are composed of those or other proteins. If a microorganism does not have the necessary enzyme developed through long evolution, it will be absolutely safe for the inhabitants of another world.
Is the information about the effect of telegony true, and is it possible to have sex with multiple sexual partners?
What you call telegony. This effect is present in the animal world. Due to the instinctive energy of those animal souls, which incarnate in animal bodies, when connecting with the first sexual partner, the animal of the female sex takes into itself the energy of his soul, i.e., it takes a part of the partner's energy structure into its own energy structure. In the future, not always but quite often, and it depends on the amount of energy and strength of a particular animal, it is possible to change in the genetic apparatus of a female animal, which on the physical level will lead to the fixation of traits of a male animal in its genetic apparatus for the rest of its life. The quantity and quality of traits, again, is very individualized, not just for each species, but even for each animal. As for humans, you have this effect, but it is suppressed by the intelligent spirit that goes to incarnation. Since you, like us, are governed not only by instincts, but you are a reasonable spirit and govern yourselves, that spirit which incarnates into a body, it also governs that part of the instinctive nature which it received from its parents. To put it simply, that child which is born of a father and a mother in your world is already by the fact of its origin not only from earthly parents, but also by the fact of its birth from God. So it does not belong to the spirits of its parents anymore. And a baby animal belongs completely to its parents because it is not an embodied spirit. As for sex with different partners, my opinion is unchanged. What you call sex is not an end in itself in our world, but only a reflection of those internal processes that take place in the soul of loving people. Of course, our civilization is interested in having the same state of affairs in your world, for we believe that the physical sexual union of only a loving man and a loving woman can produce healthy offspring and can eliminate all the unhappiness in families and in society that an excessive preoccupation with the sensual physical side of the matter produces.
Thank you, Mid, so much.
Thank you for your attention. I look forward to your next questions. See you soon. With you were Irina Podzorova and Midgaskaus from the planet Esler.
Friends, we want to take care of you and remind you not to forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, copy the link to our YouTube channel to your phone so you can easily find us. We also have a Telegram chat group for you to connect with us and other like-minded people. You can find all the details on how to join in the description below this video.